What are mental health disorders? Mental health disorders are mental conditions that typically affect your mood, the way you think, and your behavior. Some mental health disorders can cause you to be so anxious around others that you're scared to leave your own home, while others can cause you to see or hear things that aren't real. Your own thoughts can also be triggered, making you feel alone and scared during these times. There isn't a main cause for these disorders. Usually many factors can contribute to them. These can include hereditary, life experiences, abuse, biological factors or medical conditions, brain trauma, alcohol or drug abuse, being isolated from others, and many more. Even people you know and love could have a mental health disorder and not completely show symptoms or hide them from others. You could cross paths with someone with a mental health disorder day to day through school or the park or down the street, and you would never know their inner struggles. There is a lot of stigma involving mental health disorders in society today. People who have these disorders often feel as though they should hide their feelings, scared they'd be discriminated against. Society tends to view mental health disorders as a disadvantage, and that those who have them are crazy or unstable. We, as a society, should find ways to bring awareness to these disorders, to eradicate the stigma against people who have mental health disorders, and speak out for those that can't express it themselves or are too scared or worry of the backlash from others. The first thing we should do is learn more about these disorders and the people who have them. Anxiety disorders. Feeling anxious is a normal aspect of life, especially in today's society with so much stress revolving around in our daily lives. However, an anxiety disorder involves much more than these normal instances of worry or fear. These feelings can get worse and even stay for very long periods of time. These symptoms can include panic attacks, insomnia, irritability, restlessness, tension, and physical symptoms such as sweating or trembling, and feelings as if one is dying, and the feeling of no longer being in control of one's own body. There are multiple types of anxiety disorders, including generalized anxiety disorder, panic disorder, OCD, and many phobias, including agoraphobia and social anxiety. Depression and mood disorders. Many people who have anxiety also experience depression or other mood disorders. These disorders involve a serious effect on your daily lives and can cause you to feel numb or empty. These can range from years to just seasonally, and bipolar disorder can cause you to have highs and lows in different periods via manic period versus depressive period. Someone who has a depression or mood disorder typically experience sadness, anxiousness, or an empty feeling, hopelessness, irritability, guilt or worthlessness, loss in usually pleasurable activities, low energy, no motivation, possible insomnia, and suicidal thoughts and or attempts. Depression is known as the most common mental health illness in the United States. It can happen to anyone, despite age, and can be caused by biological, hereditary, environmental, or psychological factors.
My name is April Hill, and I'm 43 years old. Depression and anxiety. Sometimes I have to coax myself down, like I'll tell myself, it's okay, problem's there today, still gonna be there tomorrow. And then there's days that my depression gets so bad where I think, nobody cares about me, don't matter if I wake up tomorrow, So every day is basically a struggle. Some days good, some days not. Just because we look fine don't mean that we are fine. Know that it's a form of sickness just like anything else. It's not something that people make up in their head.
Psychotic disorders. These are very severe disorders which can cause very abnormal thinking and have hallucinations and delusions. One of the most common types are schizophrenia. Schizophrenia can cause people with it to hear voices or have irrational thoughts that people are going to hurt them or something is following them. It can usually get so bad that it affects their life so they cannot work or they have issues doing daily tasks. A lot of people with schizophrenia usually hear voices that tell them negative thoughts or things that are not always true. The symptoms usually include hallucinations, delusions, and scattered thoughts, including cognitive dysfunctions.
My name is Jeff Hill. I'm 49. He had schizophrenia. They didn't really have prescriptions to help that kind of stuff back then, like they do now. So it didn't really help him that much, and it was really tough. So he would just like hallucinate, get really angry, be gone for hours, not know where he's at. Sometimes he'd say he could make the American flag wave, he'd make the dog tails wag and stuff like that, just odd stuff. They probably need to do, which I'm sure they have since then, but like come up with better programs to help people with schizophrenia and better medication. Just something that happens in the brain that people can't help it. So I mean, anything, any kind of disease or physical appearance or anything, that people can't help. That's just the way it is. And, it shouldn't be looked upon negatively. You just need to seek help for it.
Now that we've gotten some research done and learned more about these disorders, what do we do now to bring awareness, and how can we help? The best way is to talk about it. Talk to your doctor if you have possible symptoms of a mental health disorder. Discuss it with your family and friends. Help show others that have these disorders that they're not alone and they have people they can rely on to talk to. It's important to show no discrimination towards those with mental health disorders. It is an illness, just like a broken bone or other psychological ailment, even if it cannot be seen. If you have a mental health disorder, joining support groups can also help, as well as getting therapy and seeing group therapies. Seeing a psychologist and a psychiatrist can help give you medication to help with these symptoms. We need to stand up against the stigma and show support to those that have these illnesses. Remember, this disorder is not who you are. You don't have to equate yourself with it. You are loved, and we support you. This will get better. One day we will live in a society where there isn't a big stigma to mental health disorders, and those with it can live in a happy, healthy environment.